Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is John Phillips, co-founder of PredictIt, the stock market of politics. John, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill.
All right, and the big news that we're talking about, at least in the U.S., is the infrastructure bill. Tell us more about that.
Well, it really is. It's about infrastructure, but it's also about the race for the White House in 2024. And so, a success on an infrastructure bill, both the first and the second parts of it, would be a huge box checker for the president. That's not likely to happen quite so fast. But just on the initial infrastructure, the $1 trillion bill, traders think it's likely to pass, but with 59 or fewer votes in the Senate. Now, what's interesting here is that Biden's approval rating is also teetering right around 51.5% if you look to what traders are saying about his 538 average or the Real Clear Politics number. So it's going to be it's not likely to be a close vote on the first part of the bill, but on the second, which is for the Democrats' attempt to move through additional items, a much bigger ticket, having less to do with hard infrastructure, that's not so likely. And what's interesting here is that the traders think that Biden has the edge to be reelected in 2024. That number's gone up.
And I guess a lot of it's going to also be predicated around what happens out of January 6th, right? And if McCarthy has a chance, and some of the conversations that are going to be had around that, because I think it's going to add a lot of sensitivity to the 2024 election.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes these hearings don't grab an audience. These hearings have a lot of people paying attention to it, but mostly it's about who's going to testify. Will House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy testify to the January 6th, so in public, to the Select Committee on the Capitol activity from January 6th? And there are, some of the committee members, including Adam Kinzinger, a Republican, said on Sunday that they're going to try to compel a lot of people to testify. The question is, what does the market think? The odds of the top-ranking Republican in the House to testify publicly jumped 9 cents yesterday. So it was 50-50. Now it's gone from 25 cents up to 34 cents. So 34% odds that McCarthy will testify, according to the predicted traders. That's a 20% improvement in the odds since the first day of trading, though it's still 15% off the intraday high, which was at one point a 50-50 proposition, Jill.
So, John, help me understand this. If you are called to testify, is that what's called being subpoenaed? And if, in fact, it's being subpoenaed, aren't you supposed to go and testify? How can you get around that?
Well, I'm not the constitutional legal expert. I'm not a lawyer. But it's going to there's certainly going to be a fight over this. At the end of the day, will Kevin McCarthy testify? It was a 50-50 proposition, which, according to predicted traders. Now it's 34% odds as of this morning.
And John, let's move along to APAC, because while we're so laser focused on COVID and what happened with January 6th here and a myriad of other issues we're dealing with in the States, there's a lot going on in APAC as well, particularly in Malaysia.
Yeah, there sure is. I mean, look, there was the legislators staged a march. There's a significant unrest. A lot of it is tied not just in Malaysia, but the discontent over the handling of COVID, and that's worldwide. It's not just APAC. But the question really is, who's going to be? We have a market which is I've always found it very interesting about who's going to be the next leader to resign, to leave office. And you would think, with all the unrest in Malaysia, it would be the Malaysian leader, Yassin. But that's not what traders think. In fact, traders say the odds that he's going to be the next leader to leave office is under 5%. It's about 3% odds. They view Prime Minister Suga from Japan as being the most likely to be the next leader to leave. And then there's also Duarte, who at 9%. Is a distant second to the Japanese Prime Minister's likelihood of leaving at 47% odds.
All right. Appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.
Jill.